We hang out all the time, but I just don't know how to get him to notice me. You know, like that.
Men are easy. Just take your top off.
Really?
Think about yourself right now sitting in front of your computer. What part of you are you actually using? The brain. The brain is really the only organ, heck, the only part of the body at all, we as humans need. Everything else is just here to keep blood and oxygen flowing to it, and meanwhile, each other part has its own uniquely annoying maintenance to conduct.
Nah.
1 second. So let's discuss the human body and my many, many problems with it. First, bodies are disgusting and hideous. They burp, they fart, they're basically nothing but huge, fatty, hairy, watery sacks we have to heave around, and they take a lot of energy to maintain. In fact, I would go so far as to say there is nothing of value in the majority of the human body, and that we have evolved beyond our need for them. Somebody needs to get on this. Think about the various tasks you have to do during the day. You wake up, and before you can do any of them, you have to excrete waste, maintain your teeth and hair, cleanse your entire body, fill yourself with sustenance, and in some cases, drugs like caffeine, before you can even start doing basic tasks.
But you need your body to get you places, and we're dancing.
Think about yourself at work. For the most part, you can get a lot done in a phone call, but sometimes you need an in-person meeting. Now, even though all the real work at this meeting will be done by your brain, you have to wheel your big stupid body into a car and drive down to where the other person is, putting yourself in peril on the way. At the meeting, your brain could keep churning indefinitely because it's awesome, but no, your productivity will diminish and eventually shut down entirely because your butt will fall asleep, your neck will ache, and your eyes will get increasingly heavy and want to close. We spend a third of our lives resting our dumb meat sacks just so they have enough energy to keep carting our brains around, and another third of our lives maintaining these meat sacks. So we're probably left with like 5 hours a day that we're not sleeping, eating, drinking, driving somewhere, walking somewhere, or in the can. Besides, we are in a constant need to earn money to support our stupid bodies. Almost everything we spend money on, from housing to healthcare to cars to furniture to vacations, goes to making our mortal coils more comfortable for as much of the time as possible.
Your brain still needs energy to run, though.
Yes, but the brain accomplishes nearly 100% of the tasks we do from day to day, yet it uses only about 25% of the calories we ingest. This means the rest of the body does nothing and consumes 75% of the calories. Say I was the Earth. My bloated abdomen is the United States/China of my body, absorbing all of its resources and churning out all the waste, while my brain is like the sleek Scandinavian countries that are so efficient they have run out of garbage because they turned it all into fuel.
But bodies can be nice.
Explain to me how a body helps me at all, and how I'm not just better off being a brain.
Sometimes they're nice to look at.
Nearly every piece of input we acquire is interpreted by our brain via electrical impulses. Our eyes see something, then they tell the brain what it is, and the brain decides whether it's something nice to look at or not. Why not just cut out the middleman? The middleman in this case being human eyes. Instead, simply sit my brain in a pan somewhere, like the observer from Mystery Science Theater, and feed it a series of stimuli as my former eyes would have done, without the need to constantly moisten them with eye drops and augment them with eyewear.
But what about physical?
Anytime you need to experience pleasure, you just have endorphins released into your brain. You don't have to go through the whole rigmarole of building up to it or the awkwardness of a body trying to figure out what makes it happy versus what makes it sad. You want endorphins? Bam, endorphins. Best of both worlds.
So if everybody was brains, how do the brains get sustenance if there are no bodies to feed them or convert food into energy?
Well, it would have to be like a Matrix-style situation where we're all just brains in vats being fed some kind of slurry made of, for example, our former bodies.
Ew.
Of course, that's not probably sustainable, but we'd still need way fewer resources to feed 6 billion brains and brains alone than 6 billion brains with an additional 6 billion bodies enveloping them.
In the Matrix, the brain is just inside of a computer, though. It's been converted into data, and while it needs electricity to run, it doesn't need food anymore.
Well, that's just crazy. Way too much technology needed. We obviously would still need corporeal brains in vats or pans or jars, whatever really. And you might need some people left behind to ensure that the needed sustenance does reach all the brains. Maybe an intelligence test will determine who gets to become hyper-efficient brain vats and who is forced to stay a lowly human.
Can we choose? What if we want to stay a human?
Oh, don't worry, you'd definitely be a brain.
If we're all just a bunch of brains, what's to prevent us from being eaten by wolves?
Well, in the interests of efficiency for all species, we could really just extract all the wolves' brains also.
But wolves don't have work to do or ambitions or things to invent. Their whole lives are hunting for food to survive.
Right, so we cured that problem for them. They're brains now. So once we've built whatever this de-brainer device is, we've got the human brain pile over here and the wolf brain pile over there. The wolf brain pile gets impulses telling them they're eating babies or whatever makes them happy, and the human brain pile is all interconnected like the Borg, advancing the human race at exponential speeds.
What if the brains get a fungus, huh? Or what if aliens come by to visit Earth and they want to talk to us and teach us about interstellar travel, but instead of a being that can communicate externally, they just find a giant pile of brains? They'd be like, what have you done? You've extracted all your brains and put them into a big pile. Why? What are we supposed to do with this?
Well, so there are still some bugs, but we can figure it out. Think about how much extra free time you'd have to do whatever you wanted if you didn't have to deal with your body anymore. You wouldn't have to worry about social interactions or dividing your time amongst things you want to do. You're no longer constrained by your body's capabilities. The sky's the limit. Just do everything you want to do at once.
I want to be the OS from her.
Yeah, there you go.
She got to have sex somehow.
Yeah.
Steph,
Wait.
it didn't work. I need more alcohol for this.